What's going on, you guys? I'm, as always, Mr. Grimreaper 512 with the one and only Dark 997. Today, me and Dark 997 are going to go back to 1985 and review one of the greatest film franchises in cinema history. This is our review of the Back to the Future trilogy. Enjoy! What's going on, you guys? I'm, as always, Mr. Grimreaper 512 along with Dark 987. Welcome to episode 101 Back in Time. And today, as I said in the intro, we're going to review the 1985 classic Back to the Future along with the other ones and stuff like that. The very first Back to the Future film was directed by Robert Zemeckis, produced by Bob Gale and Neil Canton, co-written by Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis. This film stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Crispin Glover. The music is done by the legendary Alan Silvestri. And, so we're going to go through the plot as we always do for Back in Time. And we are going to talk about, we're going to discuss the very first Back to the Future. So here we go. In 1985, Marty McFly is a typical teenager living in Hill Valley, California. At home, Marty's cowardly father, George, is bullied by supervisor Biff Tannen, who's an asshole. His mother, Lorraine, is an overweight, depressed alcoholic, and his older siblings are professional and social failures. An aspiring musician, Marty's band is rejected for a musical contest. He confides in his girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, about fears of becoming like his parents despite his ambitions. That night, Marty meets his eccentric scientific friend, Emmett Doc Brown, in the Twin Pines Mall parking lot. Doc unveils a time machine built from a modified DeLorean. Powered by plutonium he swindled from Libyan terrorists, Doc inputs a destination time of November 5th, 1955, the day he first conceived his time travel invention. The terrorists arrive unexpectedly, opening fire and shooting Doc. Marty flees in the DeLorean, inadvertently activating time travel when he reaches 88 miles per hour. Arriving in 1955, Marty discovers he has no plutonium to return. While exploring a burgeoning Hill Valley, Marty encounters his teenage father and discovers Biff has been bullying him since high school. George falls into the path of an oncoming car while spying on the teenage Lorraine, and Marty is knocked unconscious while saving him. He wakes to find himself tended to by Lorraine, who becomes infatuated with him. Ew. Oh. Let me see where. Oh, yeah. Marty tracks down a younger Doc and convinces him he is from the future. Doc explains the only source capable of generating the required 1.21 gigawatts of power for time travel is a lightning bolt. Marty shows Doc a flyer from the future that documents an upcoming lightning strike at the town's courthouse. Marty's siblings begin to fade from a photo he is carrying with him. He and Doc realize that Marty's actions are altering the future and jeopardizing their chances to exist. Lorraine was supposed to meet George instead of Marty after the car accident. Early attempts to get his parents acquainted fail, and Lorraine's infatuation with Marty deepens. Lorraine asks Marty to the school dance. He plots to feign inappropriate advances on Lorraine, allowing George to intervene and rescue her. The plan goes awry when Biff's gang interrupts and locks Marty in the trunk of the performing band's car, while Biff forces himself onto Lorraine. Asshole. Anyway, George arrives expecting to find Marty, and Biff bullies him into submission. After Biff hurts Lorraine, an enraged George knocks him unconscious. He escorts a grateful Lorraine to the dance. The band frees Marty from their car, but the lead guitarist is injured in the process. Marty takes his place and performs while George and Lorraine share their first kiss. With his future no longer in jeopardy, Marty heads to the courthouse to meet Doc. Doc discovers a note from Marty warning him about his future and destroys it. Worried about the consequences, to save Doc, Marty calibrates the DeLorean to return 10 minutes before he left the future. The lightning strikes, sending Marty back to 1985, but the DeLorean breaks down, forcing Marty to run back to the mall. He arrives as Doc is being shot. While Marty grieves at his side, Doc sits up, revealing he pieced Marty's note back together and wore a bulletproof vest. He takes Marty home and departs to the future in the DeLorean. Marty wakes the next morning to discover his father is now a successful, confident author. His mother is fit and happy. His siblings are successful. And Biff is a servile valet in George's employ. As Marty reunites with Jennifer, Doc suddenly reappears in the DeLorean, insisting they return with him to the future to save their children from terrible fates. Thus ending the very first Back to the Future. Alright, let's discuss this shit. Alright. So, I have seen all three Back to the Future movies. All three. From the very first one to the third one.
Yeah.
Biff, I want to discuss Biff real quick. Biff's an asshole, and Biff is a fucking complete asshole in this movie. Especially when you realize that he how can I put it? I can't even talk today. Fuck. I'm gonna let you discuss this. What did you think of Biff in the movie?
Well, I agree with Grim on the fact that he's an asshole because he was a bully, and me and Grim have been there. We have been in high school. We know what it's like to deal with bullies.
Yeah.
And we dealt with our share of assholes, and so yeah, like you said, Biff Tannen, played by Tyler Wilson. Yeah, he was an asshole in this film. You can just tell him. So, but anyway, yeah, Back to the Future. This is a classic. I thought it was a good movie. If you guys haven't seen this, y'all need to watch these films. If you're a fan of, if you like this kind of, this was, of course, she is 4 years. Truly was born before, Rick was born 6 years before we were in the picture, but, thanks to our older brother getting me in these movies and stuff, I like it. And so, and you can't pass it up. Some of, and of course, everybody's still around, as, Ken Fox is still around. Mr. Lloyd he's a really old now, but anyway, this is a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, y'all need to see it. This is a classic.
Yeah. It's no wonder that they put this movie in the National Film Registry, and preserved in the Library of Congress, because this movie, something I did not know, something I had no clue about. A year ago, they made a fucking musical out of this shit. Why? They made a musical out of this movie a year ago. They made an animated movie. There's comic books based on this. There's video games, board games, clothing, music, books, food, toys, collectibles, theme park rides, all kinds of shit that's based on this.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention, here's something that you did not know. This very show that you're watching right now, Back in Time, is an inspiration. I got very, very huge inspiration for this show from this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Didn't think of that, did y'all? But yeah, I got very huge inspiration to make Back in Time a reality thanks to this movie. Because I love Back to the Future. I enjoyed it a lot. The first movie, the second movie, and the third movie. We're going to talk about the third movie because that one seems to be getting mixed. The second one and the third one got mixed reviews for some reason. I don't know why. But I think the entire series is really good. And I think me and Grim, I think me and Knight would agree. I'm Grim, so but anyway, I think we would agree with each other that this movie gets a 10 out of 10. No doubt about it. This movie put Robert Zemeckis put this film on a pedestal. There was also back in those days a controversial situation involving an actor by the name of Eric Stoltz. You guys probably might know what went down with that. He was originally supposed to be in this movie, but something happened. And y'all guys can read up on that. It's somewhere on the internet. What happened on set with Eric Stoltz. That's why Marty ended up. That's why Michael J. Fox ended up playing the character of Marty McFly in the movie. But yeah. So I think Back to the Future gets a lot of should get a lot of credit for being one of the greatest films in the history of all time. And I give Back to the Future a lot of credit, especially due to the fact that I had inspiration. This film inspired me to make this series, Back in Time. So yeah. But coming up next, we're gonna talk about the other two Back to the Future films, and see if they were warranted also as being the best of all time. So, with that in mind, I am as always Mr. Grimreaper 2 with Dark 997, and we'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.